Today on Western Sports Roundup, the professional bull riders in Tampa, Florida. And we'll tell you about the top performers, including a two-time PBR world champion. That's all coming up on Western Sports Roundup.
Well, and they say that records are meant to be broken, and last night there was one set at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo in the team roping. It was the 3-3 run. We will tell you more about it here on today's episode.
And I want you to stay with us on Western Sports Roundup today, because that man's story behind the scene is one that will inspire you. His name is Tim Mouse Sheets. He's one of the guys that works behind the scenes at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo for Raptor G Rodeo. Katy Lucas will join us to tell you about his life story.
My heart doctor told me when I left, he goes, "You belong to the 1% club." And I was like, 1% of what? He goes, "Only 1% of the people that have a widowmaker survive." He goes, "For some reason, you are here." And I went, "Thank you."
Well, good evening, everybody. You are watching Western Sports Roundup tonight on the Cowboy Channel. Happy Wednesday. On behalf of Steve Kenyon, I'm Corey Keith. We have a lot of news to cover for you tonight. Of course, we're going to get right into it. For our Kubota Top story, a night ago in Fort Worth, records are shattered.
Yeah, records shattered very much. The old arena record in Fort Worth in the team roping was a 3-6. The new arena record's a 3-3. It was set last night by those guys, Nelson Wyatt and Jonathan Torres. Watch this. It's going to happen in a hurry in slow motion. 3-3. They break the old arena record by 0.3 of a second. They almost broke the record in the steer wrestling, too. But Wyatt and Torres, here's the way it sounded in the arena as they broke the arena record.
Nelly. Torres. Got it. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, by 0.3 of a second, you have just watched the fastest team roping run ever at this rodeo. 3.3!
That is the sound of Garrett Urigan. You can tell his excitement. He's been a part of a few arena records in his career at several major rodeos. But here's a look at the previous records. Aguilera and Payne and Egeskes and Lord, 3-6. You said 2022, 2025. The records broke again with Nelson Wyatt and Jonathan Torres.
You look at those and you think to yourself, okay, how much faster can they go?
I don't know.
How much faster can they go than a 3-6? Well, they were just 3-3. Can they be 3-2? Can they be 3-1? Those are the questions that you kind of have to ask yourself. Katy Lucas joins us from Dickey's Arena, the home of the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. And Katy, I find myself looking at that going, how much faster can they go in the team roping after a 3-3 last night?
Well, Steve, remember we answered that question last year in the 2025 rodeo season in Nampa when our contestants were 3.2 seconds. Of course, that was Mason Ampleton, Brance Doyle. That is the world record in the PRCA, 3.2. There are now 7 3.3 second runs in the PRCA's history. That 7th one, we saw it just last night. And Jonathan Torres and Nelson Wyatt, they were kind of laughing, and they said a lot of their friends were texting them and saying, you know, you guys were so calm. You looked like you weren't even that excited. Well, I visited with them today, and they certainly were excited about that run like last night. They said that was so much fun, but to them, it just didn't feel like it was that fast. They knew it was a round-winning run, but they didn't believe that it was 3.3 seconds. But when I talked to Jonathan Torres, he said after thinking about it, there was no wasted motion. The steer ran an absolutely perfect pattern. There was no wasted time on the slack. Just all of those little moments that shave off precious tenths of seconds. That's what came together to make that run happen. Nelson Wyatt also agreed it was definitely just what they're shooting for every time. That was the perfect run. And like he said, it felt fast enough to win the round, but he didn't know that it could be that fast to be a 3-3. But as I said, they're now just the 7th PRCA team ropers to ever do it. It was also their fastest run ever in PRCA competition.
Well, I heard Nelson Wyatt make the comment in the interview after the run was made. He said, that may be the best steer we've ever seen at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. Well, they took advantage of it, no doubt.
Yeah, they certainly did. You need an absolutely perfect steer. And Jonathan Torres made the great point. The steer ran a perfect pattern. That's what allowed them to be so fast. And then they were perfect around that steer as well. I'll go ahead and brag on them. I'll go ahead and be excited. So I told them, okay, guys, let's do it again tonight. Let's maybe see if we can shave another 10th off. So we'll see what happens this evening.
Well, and at some point during the course of the rodeo, Katie, somebody else is going to get that same steer. Somebody else is going to get a shot at that steer. If that's the perfect steer, that steer will be back, and somebody else will get a chance to throw their ropes at him at some point this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting, too. I'm actually going to run to the secretary's office right now and have a look and see who has that steer. So I'll report back on that later, guys.
Got it. Katy Lucas, thank you so much for your time. Katy will rejoin us later on, and we'll talk a little bit about a great story that I think will inspire everybody who watches it. That's coming up a little bit later on here on Western Sports.
Yeah, it is. We have a lot of great stories to cover today, like we mentioned a moment ago. But now let's talk about the Bull Riding Hall of Fame and some names that you're going to know. It's new tonight, of course. But the Bull Riding Hall of Fame class of 2026, you start naming some of these guys off like Shane Proctor, Cody Teal, Owen Washburn. That's a good group of guys, if you ask me.
Yeah, it really is, and those are just a few of them. There are many, many more. Ed Minhas is going in this year. You take a look at the D&H Cattle Company. You take a look at Mike Lee and Wesley Silcox, champions in both the PRCA and the PBR. You take a look at Jimmy Anderson, bullfighter. 9 Tiger of the Minnick Rodeo Company, and it is so fitting, I think, in this year that Pam and Billy Minnick add their names to the all-around sponsorship roster of the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, that Minnick Rodeo gets an opportunity to have another bull inducted into the Bull Riding Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there's so much history and a legacy that continues on through them. That is a great class of bull riders. Of course, the Bull Riding Hall of Fame, they just announced it, but Saturday, May 16th, Billy Bob's, of course, that's where it's going to be held. The Texas 81 Club. If you want to come join, you'll have the opportunity to do that. You can check out the website, thebullridinghalloffame.com.
So as you take a look at these highlights, let's talk about something that has happened over the last couple of days that we would like you to be aware of. And if you'd like to help out, we would like you to know how you can help out. A developing story, HD Page, and the bull program, the bull raising program that HD and Dylan have developed has become one of the most impressive in the country. Well, there was an accident that took place a couple of days ago, and a fundraiser has been set up for HD, a serious accident in the bull pens. He is a cornerstone of this industry. The operator of the D&H Cattle Company in Ardmore, Oklahoma, got hooked in the bull pens, a serious injury that required him to be care flighted to the Oklahoma University Medical Center. Yep. Broken jaw, eye socket fractures, major shoulder and sternum injuries, multiple broken ribs, and an ankle injury. He needs surgery to wire his jaw shut and repair his shoulder, and we've all got a chance to reach out.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to be a long road to recovery for HD Page. Of course, many of you know the story of all the great bulls that they have raised. Obviously, his story is not over yet. He is going to be in recovery, but you have a chance to help by going to that GoFundMe, because all that money is obviously going to help pay medical expenses, because when you get into things like that, it gets very pricey very quickly. So thoughts and prayers with the HD Page family and Dylan H. Cattle Company.
Yeah, exactly. And we're proud to be able to share that with you. And just if you're not sure where to go to GoFundMe.com. Yep. Just type in HD's name, and it should all come up right in front of you. Let's talk about what's coming up. The Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. We're into bracket number 3. We'll wrap it up tonight. Last night, big stuff. Big scores in the bareback riding. Almost broke a record in the steer wrestling and set a new record in the team roping. We'll show it all to you.
And starting this weekend, the 7-time large indoor rodeo of the year, Rodeo Rapid City. It kicks off once again. The Sutton Rodeo family celebrating 100 years in the making of producing one of the biggest events in South Dakota. WSR is brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of the PRCA and Cowboys everywhere.
Come on, Strand, finish this thing! How about 78 big ones for Strand Smith? Shelly, let's go. 1641 to number 1. Torres, got it. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, by 0.3 of a second, you have just watched the fastest team roping run ever at this rodeo. 3.3.
Well, so bracket 3 continues tonight. We're halfway through it. Of course, a total of 7 brackets from the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, the tournament style format of one of the largest paying rodeos of the season, and of course a huge part of the Texas swing. But last night, as we look at who won the first go-round, it's important to know, because tonight, if you didn't win any money, you're really going to have to step up. But there was 2 bareback riders that were in the payday.
Remember, the way you advance is on total money won. Richie Champion and Wasey Shala, you're taking a look at Wasey right here, split the round last night. They were both big money, 88 points. And here's the thing about that. That's $2,200 if you are in that tie. That means you're not guaranteed a spot to move on as one of the top 3 money winners. They both got to win a check tonight to guarantee themselves that opportunity to move on and compete in the next round, either the wild card round or the semifinals.
Well, and that's the thing about the tournament style bracket. They put 2 great rides last night, 2 88s.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to watch here tonight. That's a great point you bring up. At steer wrestling, we were close to the arena record. Justin Schaefer actually holds the arena record with 3-1, but Mason Couch from Missouri, 3.4. This is the Mason Couch that I've been looking forward to. That's a college national finalist, just kind of starting to get his feet wet in this game that we all love. Mason Couch got a bright future, though. He
won the round by 0.4 of a second, as you mentioned, was 0.3 of a second off of the arena record at 3.1. Again, you have to ask yourself, how much faster can they go as you watch a 3.4 right there? Let's talk about the team roping. In case you missed it earlier, here it is. The arena record in 120 years at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, a 3.3 for Nelson Wyatt and Jonathan Torres.
Yeah, 2 trips to the national finals for Nelson Wyatt, 4 trips for Jonathan Torres. This is going to be a deadly team to watch this season. I mean, look, that steer barely even had time to change directions. I mean, you might even, let's watch that a little closer. Almost borderline crossfire. I mean, it was just a split second. That is picture perfect. It cannot get any faster than that on that steer on this run. That is a great run by those 2 guys.
Yeah, so let's talk about the saddle bronc riding now. And in the bronc riding, we turn our attention to one of the great veterans of pro rodeo. Jacobs Crowley won a world title in 2015, been to the NFR 10 times. This is a horse called Smarty Pants of Dakota Rodeo. And Jacobs Crowley, who admittedly cut back on his travel schedule last year, 86 points. The guys behind him, Ben Anderson from Canada, and then Waitley Sharon, a college kid from a year ago, and Statler Wright, the reigning world champion. But wow, this is vintage Jacobs Crowley right here.
Yeah, you know, he won this rodeo in 2018. You talked about him changing his travel plans. He might have to change them again if he wins Fort Worth here in 2026. But Emily Charlesworth, that's the cowgirl we talk about in the breakaway roping. Marathon, Texas cowgirl finished in the top 50 a season ago, 2.6, coming off her first trip to the Texas Circuit Finals. At a great start for her. As you can see, Shaylee King second in that bracket. Madeline Richards. That's a pretty tough bracket of young ropers.
Is there anything prettier than a shiny horse with a flaxen mane and tail? Just throwing that out there. 2.6 for Emily Charlesworth as you take a look at it one more time. Let's talk about the tie-down roping and Tom Kraus. 9.9. He hit a lick last year. He went to the Wrangler NFR for the first time, ended up as the number 12 man in the world standings. Right now he finds himself 11th, finishing ahead of Bo Cooper and Cole Clements last night. But Tom Kraus is very much showing all of us why we believe that this champion of the Great Lakes Circuit has got an opportunity to become a really impressive roper and have a great career.
Oh, he's been impressive. And I know last year at the end of the season, his dad and his now wife, they had 2 rigs going. They were trying to get him to the NFR. They were going to do everything they could. Sometimes just making that first trip is all the edge a guy needs to get that confidence, and that confidence continues to roll forward. But speaking of confidence, there's an 8-year-old buckskin, and Shelly Morgan is the jockey. That is a 5-time national finalist, and that is her horse, B, cruising around those barrels with 1641.
Yeah, B, Bucky the Wonder Horse. Yep, Bucky the Wonder Horse was a wonder last night, 1641 for the former NFR aggregate winner. Summer Coastal right behind McKenna Coronado in 3rd, but that was just smooth. And that's the way Shelly's horses all work. Smooth, pretty easy. 1641 for Shelley Morgan. So let's talk about the bull riding, because over the last 4 nights in Fort Worth, 3 of those 4 nights, 1 bull rider has ridden. 1 of those 4 nights, nobody's ridden. Here's a guy who made the 1 ride and got $7,400 last night. Maybe the most profitable 78-point ride Strand Smith from South Dakota's ever made.
Yeah, he's a Badlands Circuit finalist, finished number 42 in the world a season ago. He won $61,000 last season. He's already just shy of $20,000 this season, and we're not even to February yet. So Strand Smith looking to make plans to make his first national finals. Of course, you have to have a little luck to go your way. When you're only man to ride in your bracket, you get the entire payday, which is worth a lot of money.
Yeah, and it guarantees he punches his ticket to go on to the next round. And whatever he does tonight is a bonus.
Yeah,
I mean, if
absolutely.
he wins a round tonight, that's $2,500. He's $9,900, assuming other guys ride.
Yeah.
If there's nobody who rides again tonight, he's at $14,800 already.
Well, and think about if nobody else rides, and he's the only one that rides again tonight, too.
Yeah.
Same scenario, same song and dance. I love it.
Yep, so there it is. Congratulations to all of last night's top performers. The Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo continues tonight. Bracket number 3, round 2, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, basically right after we get done with Western Sports Roundup. We hope you will join us for the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, 7-time Rodeo of the Year award winner getting underway this weekend as they're getting ready in Rapid City, South Dakota for Rodeo Rapid City. Steve and Kim Sutton will join us and tell about the preparations and what all those awards have meant to their legendary 100-year rodeo family. That's coming up.
So celebrating 100 years of a great family out of South Dakota, the Sutton family. And of course, not just any kind of celebration, a big time celebration at Rodeo Rapid City, which happens to be the 7-time large indoor rodeo of the year. You can watch it January 30th through February 7th on the Cowboy Channel Plus app. It has been a big stop. It's a pre-calving vacation in South Dakota, if you're a farmer or rancher, to go celebrate our great Western way of life in the great town of Rapid City. And to talk more about Rapid City, South Dakota and Rodeo Rapid City, we have Steve Sutton and Kim Sutton joining us right now on Western Sports Roundup. Kim, Steve, thank you guys for taking time today. I know you guys are just a couple days out, and it's getting kind of crazy already up there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. It's it'll be feel good to get one under our belt and get to Saturday. First of 9 days, so we're ready to go.
There are a lot of points of pride in this year's rodeo for you. Corey mentioned the 7-time large indoor rodeo of the year in the PRCA. This year, what is it, 6 generations and 100 years of the Sutton Rodeo Company family. Steve, talk about that a little bit.
Well, in 1926, great-grandpa held a rodeo on the ranch, and the different ranchers come around with their better hired men, and they did different events. But it also shows that there was production back then too, you know, and Dad was very big on the production. And you know, we're a rodeo, but we're also entertainment. And it was even back in 1926, they rode a buffalo, jumped horses with horses, and
jumped out of airplanes.
Yeah.
By the second year, white ice came out of pier, and people jumped out of airplanes, and it was the first time, they said in the reports we read about it, that people saw people do that outside of military situations. And Steve's great grandma Jessie gave away teacups and saucers to all the ladies who attended. So there was swag. We have a postcard from 1928 of a man riding a buffalo, and people jumping cars with horses. And right off from the start, apparently Sutton Rodeo genetically was pushed toward production, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, there's something about the theatrics. Go ahead, Steve.
the arena was a circle of Model Ts and Model As.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wish I could go back and be a part of some of those moments, just because I hear all of the great stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. But I want to talk about how this rodeo is a little bit different than the other large indoor rodeos. When you compare yourselves to Fort Worth and Houston and San Antonio, the committee at Rapid City, it's made up of all Suttons. It is a family-oriented event and family-driven. Tell us a little bit about what everybody's roles are this week.
Well, there's a lot of hats to, big jobs and hats to fill, but one thing about us, if everybody works at everything, some are better at others at different parts, which it takes. And, we're all available to do everything, but we all kind of take on a job and try to get it done so the other one can go work on something else.
Tell me about that facility, because it's a reasonably new arena that you're in there in Rapid City, right?
We are. The Civic Center itself was built in the fall of 1997, and Elvis Presley was their first show. And Jim and Julie and Steve met with the city and brought the rodeo in 78. So 1978 was our first year here, and they weren't even a year old yet. Now they've added an ice arena where we have a fantastic vendor show and live show. They have a theater that's been added to it. And then in 2020, they added the Summit Arena, fantastic new facility. Depending on how you configure it, 15,000 seat arena, and it's beautiful. It's really been and we do consider ourselves a family of 8 on the committee, but we consider the monument staff part of our committee, and so many people here that help us make this rodeo work. The whole town takes a lot of pride in it. When we won Large Indoor Rodeo of the Year in December, when I got back to my table, I had 15 or 20 text messages, but 3 of the first 4 were from building managers in this building we're in right now. And I really feel like that's a key to our success. Everybody here is all in and making it be successful.
Well, it's been fun to watch, just especially in my era, since I've known you guys, it's pretty much been in the new building. We do have a picture I want to throw up in front of you guys now. I actually took this picture. It was the first time that Jim was walking into the new monument building, looking at everything. And I almost get a little emotional when I look at this picture, because I just think, what is going through Jim's mind as he's walking into this building, knowing all the changes and everything that he has seen, and he gets to walk in there thinking, this is it. This is why we do this. Tell us about Rodeo Rapid City and what it means to you guys, and what does that picture mean to you, Steve?
Well, like Kim said, when the old building was built in 1978, and Mom and Dad come to town, nobody knew them, and they talked the city into letting them fill this brand new building with dirt and hold a rodeo. And when they built the Summit, it was no conversation. It was, yeah, you can put dirt in this new building, because it's the second largest event in the state. We just can't beat that motorcycle rally over in Sturgis.
Jim's reaction in that new building was, this is quite a place.
Yeah.
He was really, really stunned and really impressed. He said they really did this well, and they really did.
This year we do have some suites right alongside the arena. You can sit, and you'll literally feel the panel vibrate if a horse hits it or get some dirt spilled in your beer. There's new suites right down the line, and that's going to be a very popular aspect to the rodeo here in Rapid.
We're still learning the Summit Arena ourselves and how to configure it and the best ways to make everything fit. And that was one of the things we'd been missing here, were suites on the dirt. There's certain people who really like that dirt kicked in their beer, and so now we've got that Coors beer can get dirt in it this year. So
let me ask you about your schedule this weekend real quick before I let you go. You got a bull riding and a bronc riding, right? And then you kick off the full rodeo performances after that. It should be a great time this weekend. Kim and Steve Sutton, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. You can follow it all on the Cowboy Channel Plus app. And it's always so good to talk to you. And congratulations on number 7. Last December is Large Indoor Rodeo of the Year. Go get number 8. Let's have another great year in Rapid City.
Thank you. We appreciate it so much.
Thanks, guys. Kim and Steve Sutton joining us from Rodeo Rapid City, which is this weekend. It kicks off, and we've got all the action for you on the Cowboy Channel Plus app.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll tell you the breakdown of the PBR in Tampa. We'll tell you who the winner is. It's a familiar name. You're going to want to stay tuned to find out more. We'll tell you more about it here on Western Sports Roundup. the feed pen and he would not buck. It kind of tells you everything you need to know. What's cool, though, the ABBI World Champion Bucking Bull, he surpassed Bushwhacker in 2024 at the PBR World Finals. It was 41. Bushwhacker held the record for the most buck-offs in a row. Cool Whip broke it with 42.
They bucked him 97 times. They rode him 3.
That's
Joao Ricardo
stat.
Vieto in 2022 for 82.5. And then after that ride, the 48 straight buck-off string took place. They rode him in January 2025. Sandro Batista for 89 3/4. The last ride on Cool Whip would be turned in by rookie Hudson Bolton last year in April, 88 1/4.
Yeah, it's a sad story. It kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about with HD Page.
Yeah.
It's just a tragic accident at the ranch, and of course HD trying to step in the middle of it to save the animals. You guys have been following along on Facebook. You kind of know the gist of it. But thoughts and prayers continue for the Dylan and HD Page, D&H Cattle Company, as they mourn the loss of maybe one of the greatest bucking bulls of all time. But their legacy still continues on through the PBR. And speaking of the PBR, this last weekend in the Sunshine State of Florida, Tampa, there was a big weekend for several guys in the organization. Let's take a look at some of the top rides from day one. It was all about a 3-time world champion, Jose Vitor Lemi, on pale face. It was worth 87.7 points.
Yeah, remember, they've gone to the 10th point scoring system in the PBR. That was third in go-round number 1. 87-7 for Jose Vitor Lemi. As you see him right here, that's a great camera angle to see the body movement. Thiago Salgado versus Mississippi Mercenary finishes number 2. This is go-round number 1 in Tampa, 88.8. So from 87.7 to 88.8, that bull had a little bit more drop, a little bit more up and down maybe, and Thiago Salgado, great reactions every step of the way.
You know, the point system now, it just adds an element to the game. It ups the judging system, and it makes sure the champions get crowned accordingly. And speaking of champions, Jess Lockwood, he's back. Verse Raider, this is the first place ride from the first day, 89.5 points. Jess Lockwood has been through some stuff in life. I'm going to say that because he has had a road to recovery of figuring things out, but now he is back. He is healthy. Jess Lockwood is going to be going after another world championship. He's currently number 8 in the world of the UTB standings.
Yeah, and that ride you just saw set the table for bigger things to come in Tampa. So let's go to day number 2, Dalton Castle, Muleshoe, Texas, the PBR standings leader. I can't say the name of that bull. 88.9 points for Dalton Castle, and nice bull ride. And look at how he just keeps moving, keeps reacting, keeps that free arm pumping. 88.9, that was third. If you're third with an 88.9, you know there's got to be some big stuff coming.
Oh, there must be some big things coming. And we knew when this kid came on scene, Clay Guyton versus Chico, his was second place, 89.1. I can remember when this kid came on scene for the first time of the PBR Velocity Tour. We all knew he wasn't going to be there very long. He has since become a household name, part of the Carolina Cowboys organization. Number 4 in the UTB standings in a race to a world championship.
So if the guys winning second and third are 88 and 89, where's the guy who's going to win first going to be? How about 90? 90.65, Daniel Keeping versus the Player. And boy, what a great name for a bucking bull. And Daniel Keeping, who is a guy who's not one bit afraid of 90-point bull rides. 6-1 on right there.
No, 3-time PBR World Finalist, part of the Texas Rattler organization. Great bull rider, big things to come from Daniel Keeping. Right now, the PBR's got some bull riders that can really strap it on. Let's take a look at the championship round. Here's Jess Lockwood. Again, you said bigger things to come. He was lights out, no pun intended, but that was his second place finish in the championship round of 90.35. But that was second. You just said that a minute ago, right?
Yeah,
that was second.
That was second.
So what was first?
So what was first? Well, you bragged about Clay Guyton a minute ago. Got a bull called Sober Child, 90.9 points for Clay Guyton, doing all he can in this championship ground. The disadvantage Clay Guyton had, there was only one man at this event in Tampa that rode all 3 of his bulls. And Clay Guyton was not that one man. He won the short round, but the overall event champion, as you take a look at the MVP of the PBR Teams Finals, Jess Lockwood, who wins the event, 267.65. Guyton second. Sage Kimsey's having a great season in the PBR. Dalton Castle and Paulo Rossetto, your top 5. But Jess Lockwood, who remember is the youngest PBR world champion in history, 2 times He has strapped on the buckle that says PBR champion, and he finds himself number 1, and he finds himself now in the top 10 in the world standings.
Well, and there you can see he's number 8 right now. But this has nothing to do with our segment. But Sage Kimzey, number 2 in the world, the UTB. I raised this question earlier. If he wins the PBR world title this year, does that make him the greatest bull rider of all time?
Well,
one of them. It's just a question I asked.
7 in the PRCA.
Yeah, 7 in the PRCA. Could have 1 in the PBR before it's all said and done. So we're going to wish him luck.
That's a social media debate.
That is a social media. That's not for us to decide, but that's for him to decide a little bit later. Be sure to stop by and check out the PBR in Sacramento. If you live close by, that is the next tour stop for the Unleash the Beast tour. Watch the best bull riders in the world hash it out against the best bulls on the planet.
So we've got a great story coming up, and the lady who's going to tell you that great story is our friend Katy Lucas.
Guys, there are so many people that come together to make the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo happen behind the scenes. Yes, our fans and our TV viewers may never see them, but if you could hear their stories, you would truly be inspired. I'll bring one of those stories to you next on Western Sports Roundup.
You're looking across town from the Fort Worth Stockyards, the home of the Cowboy Channel, Dickey's Arena, which is the home of the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, as we get ready to enjoy the next performance in Fort Worth coming up here tonight on the Cowboy Channel. And we've been getting great coverage every day from what's happening at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo from our friend and colleague, Katy Lucas.
Absolutely. And, you know, not just about the cowboys and cowgirls that show performance in the arena, but, Katy, there's some people behind the scenes who have some incredible stories as well.
Yeah, they certainly do. And that's one of my favorite things about working these events. Here at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, there are so many people behind the scenes that work very hard to make this event happen. But there's one man in particular that reminds us each and every day that this is not a job, but it is truly a privilege that we should be thankful for.
Forget his holder. I help sort timed event cattle. I'm on the feed crew in the mornings. We feed at 8 a.m. every day. Haven't missed the feeding since I've been here. And then we usually go back to the camper and have breakfast. And then anything that needs done during the day, I do help out. Meet up here at 4 o'clock and I help sort timed event cattle and then come down here and hang out with the rough stock in case they need something. Then I can help out with that.
Tim Mouse Sheets has been a hand for several outfits around the rodeo world for decades, with his work sometimes taking him across the country.
I worked for Bo Davis, DVS Productions. We had hooked up with Pepe Aguilar and was going on concert with Pepe. We'd been all around the world. This particular day, we was in Anaheim, California, September 2nd, 2022. Everything went well. One of the stagehands, he wanted to hang out with me. And he's like, Mouse, can I hang with you tonight? And I'm like, sure, come on. Well, thank God he did, because we walked out the tunnel and I don't remember none of this. This is all from what they're telling me. But I looked at him and said, hang on a minute, and I just dropped over dead. Luckily, EMS come over and did CPR and got me. Got the shockers off the wall, and they shocked me, and they brought me back, and they kept me stable long enough to get me on a gurney and start to the hospital.
Mouse had to be revived one more time before ER doctors could begin to work on him in the hospital. It took doctors 12 days to stabilize Mouse enough to attempt to insert stents into his heart to help it regain function. But they soon realized they would have to take a different path.
My widowmaker was at 95% blocked. I had another artery that was 90% blocked, and then I had one that was 80 and a half, somewhere, I don't remember exactly. And they tried to put stents in, and they couldn't get the stents in because they was too plugged. So they decided to crack me open. This is my medicine alarm. Had to keep me stable enough to where they could crack me open and take arteries out of my left chest wall and out of my leg and put me back together.
Before that, Mouse had no idea his heart was a ticking time bomb.
Didn't know. I felt fine. I used to have problems breathing, and I went and seen a doctor, and he said I had asthma. So they give me an inhaler, you know, and I'd run out of breath, so I'd hit my inhaler and wait a second and go do what I did. Well, when I got home from California, my heart doctor said, "Did you ever have any signs?" And I'm like, "No, to my knowledge." He goes, "Do you ever have a sharp pain right in the middle of your back?" And I was like, "Yeah, all the time." He's like, "You didn't have asthma." He said, "That's been your heart the whole time."
Mouse continued progressing after his surgery, working to not only get back on his feet, but to the work he enjoyed. Positive attitude intact.
But it happened in California, when it did, where it did, for a reason, because I'm here with you.
Mouse was able to return home from the hospital 1 month later, and soon enough, he got a call from his old boss, Rafter G Rodeo owner Jim Gay.
And he's like, "Mouse," he goes, "are you coming to Fort Worth?" And I'm like, "I would love to." I said, "But you know what went down?" And I said, "I ain't got the strength I used to have. Not yet. You know, I've only been home a few weeks." I said, "Let me think about it." I said, "I can't pull gates. I can't move an out gate, because everybody knows the gates here in Fort Worth are heavy." And he says, "Well, I have the perfect job for you." And he told me what the job was. And he said, "If you can do it, I would love to have you. If you can't do it, I completely understand."
After some encouragement from his wife, Sarah, Mouse returned to the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo in January of 2023, just a handful of months after triple bypass surgery saved his life.
I am very, very grateful for Jim and Brenda and the Rafter G Rodeo, and me and Wyatt have gotten to be good friends in summer, and rodeo's just one big family. Everybody helps everybody, and everybody pulls for you, and Jim just keeps calling, so I keep accepting.
Mouse continues to thrive in Fort Worth, with maybe just a little more perspective on life.
But now I wake up in the mornings, I'm like, "Thank you, Lord. One more." My eyes are open, I'm breathing, and every day is a good day. It don't matter how bad the day is, as long as you're alive, it's good, always. Don't ever give up. If you don't believe in God, come live with me for a little bit, because somebody's up there watching over me. I'm not even sure why I got blessed enough to be here, but for some reason, I'll figure it out one day, and we'll just keep going on with life. Keep meeting people and enjoying it, because some people ain't as fortunate as I am. My heart doctor told me when I left, he goes, "You belong to the 1% club." And I was like, "1% of what?" He goes, "Only 1% of the people that have a widowmaker survive." He goes, "For some reason, you are here." And I went, "Thank you."
Guys, the biggest thing that Mouse wants to get across when he tells his story is that there truly is no such thing as a bad day. If you're awake and you're breathing, every day can be a good day. Truly enjoyed getting the chance to tell his story.
You know, Katy, this is an inspirational story for everybody, not just Steve and I sitting here in the studio tonight, but everybody sitting at home. I think it's just a reminder how fragile life can be. And I think it's a reminder that the creator of the universe is not done with all of us. If we're still alive and breathing, he has a purpose for us, just like Mouse himself. If you know Mouse, you know how cool he is and how fun he is to be around. Man, God's not done with him yet. And if you're listening, God's not done with you either.
Well, and here's the thing that jumps out and grabs me is all three of us go to rodeos a lot. And we are public faces. You and I are going to be behind a microphone. Katie's going to be behind a microphone talking to rodeo contestants. But there are literally dozens of Mouses behind the scenes at every single rodeo with great stories that they can tell, and they're the reason that all of these events happen. Thank you, Katy, for telling Mouse's story, because that is one that inspires for anybody who has been through some stuff. That man couldn't have gone through much more stuff and still been here. And so thank you for telling that story.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Anytime I can shine a light on the folks that work together to make these events happen, I love the opportunity to do so. And Mouse, as you said, truly is an inspiration. And every day I get to walk up to him here at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, and I say, Mouse, how you doing today? And he says, you already know, every day is a great day. So really an inspiration, and I'm just glad we could shine a little light on his story.
Well, that is something to be said about his testimony. And I hope we get to share more stories like this in the future. I know we spend a lot of time talking about the world champions and the greats and what they're doing in the arena, but I really hope we have an opportunity to share the great stories behind the scenes. But Katy, thank you so much for sharing that story with all of us here tonight. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for giving me the platform to do so, and I hope everyone's inspired. We've got a great performance coming your way a little later.
Yeah, if you're not inspired by that, you probably need to go back and watch it again or something. We're getting ready to get back to Fort Worth, bracket number 3, round number 2. It's coming up tonight here on the Cowboy Channel. Who will be advancing to the next go-round? We will tell you about it. We'll share all the information, and you can watch the action from the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo coming up.
I can't say enough about it. It's so special to me. Not only the picking up and the job, but the memories and the people that you meet and the places you get to go. And I think that's what's most special about the rodeo industry in general, is the relationships you build. So I'm looking forward to redirecting energy into another adventure and see how it goes. I guess the reason for the retirement is multifaceted. You know, there's always some nagging injuries. There's other things you want to do in life. Both of my boys, Blevin and Brennan, are getting into their own things. My son Blevin is working on being a pilot, and I'm a pilot as well, so I want to be able to fly with him. My younger son Brennan is starting to ride saddle bronc steers, so I want to be able to go to his junior rodeos and on up into the high school rodeos and help him. And, you know, just time away. You know, 25 years is a long time to give to any career. And I feel like after the year I had in 2023, where I was voted the Pickup Man of the Year, I was also voted to pick up the NFR.
How many bucking horse riders, how many bronc riders has he saved in a rodeo arena? How many great horses has he ridden? We'll get some answers to all of that as we talk about Josh Edwards on Inside Pro Rodeo this weekend, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday. And we hope you will join us. Like I said, it's my honor to host the show. This is Justin McKee's show. I'm just here for 1 week, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. It's time for our Veterans Top 3, Clean, Treat, and Heel. And, of course, the Bull Riding Hall of Fame class of 2026 has been announced, from the bull riders to the bulls to the contractors to the bullfighters. Congratulations to all of the nominees.
Yeah, and don't blink, you might miss this one. The fastest time in the history of the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo in the team roping. Nelson Wyatt, Jonathan Torres, and a 3.3 to set the arena record. Wow, that was fast. They broke the old arena record by 0.3 of a second. The old record was a 3.6, now a 3.3. Let's take you to the professional bull riders event over the weekend. Tampa, Florida. Jess Lockwood, boy, is he back. The only man to ride all 3 of his bulls. He finds himself now in the top 10 in the world standings at number 8 after winning the PBR in Tampa.
Yeah, I think the World Championship race, the PBR, is going to be one to keep your eyes on moving forward in the days to come. Speaking of the days to come, tonight we're going to continue Fort Worth. Bracket 3, round number 2. Pretty much follows the show here of Western Sports Roundup. Ty McClary is eager to start tonight's performance live from Dickey's Arena. You do not want to miss any of the action or any of the brackets coming up.
Yeah, nightly brackets 3, 4, and 5, 8:30 p.m. each night as you take a look at some of the color Valor and Pageantry. This weekend, they kick things off at Rodeo Rapid City in Rapid City, South Dakota. 7 times an award winner as the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association's Large Indoor Rodeo of the Year. And this year, let's not lose this fact. The Sutton Rodeo Company and the Sutton Rodeo family, 6 generations deep and celebrating 100 years in the rodeo business. That is iconic.
Yeah, it's pretty iconic in the fact that they have been able to keep it all in the family from day one. It's been pretty incredible. But hey, thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Western Sports Roundup. On behalf of the entire cast, Steve Kenyon, I'm Corey Keith. Good night, everybody. Stick around. Ty McClary will take you through bracket number 3 here on the Cowboy Channel.